Hi! Today I've got a pretty fun update. It includes lasers, force fields, Niagara's effects, and physical animation. So let's take a look at it. The first update, and the simplest one for this video, is the addition of new gravity fields. So this is a new Niagara system. I think the center, I'm gonna add a static mesh in the center, but essentially these are attracting the player toward the center, and I also have another version where it's doing the opposite, and if you reach the center you get pushed away, so you most likely gonna die if you reach the center. So for this part of the level, which is just a testing area here, it's attracting you and you need to make sure not to touch the center, otherwise you're dead. So this is pretty cool. It can be used in many different type of situations, and if you got your anti-gravity ability on, it would react differently because you don't fight against the gravity. So for example, here I don't have gravity, so if I enter up, it's pulling me up, but if I remove this, it's pulling a lot less because you've got the gravity on top of it. So if I'm here, it's kind of okay, I can get through it, but although, yeah, with this ability activated, it's not gonna happen. So that's a very straightforward update. And for the animation, I'm not gonna get through it because it's very similar to other things we went through earlier on previous videos, but it's pretty cool. It becomes red when you enter, so it's very clear that you are now affected by it, and when it explodes, it pushes all the particles back. So if I get close, you see how it's pushing everything, me included. And as always, you've got the collisions as well. So yeah, pretty cool effect. Here is a very big one. The way it's done at the moment, the size doesn't affect the amount of force that is applied to the rocket ship. So this one is very big, but on the edge, it's not affecting it much. So I can have different types depending on the area, and that one being in a very wide open space, it's less likely to kill you, but it can still kill you. Wow, that was interesting. We also have the opposite effect, so this one is gonna attract the player, but this one is gonna push it. So when in a section of a level you get a mix of the attracting forces and repulsive one, and then add later on some enemies, then you can see how I can play around with different levels of challenges. And your ability helps a lot as well, because here I'm pushed, but if I use my boost, I can stabilize fairly easily, at least it's possible. But if I'm on 0G, it's gonna push me quite a bit more, so yeah. So we now have lasers, which is really cool. So at the moment this one is green, but I will have many colors, many different firing rates. The impact that they will be making is gonna be different depending on the type of gun that you have or the type of laser that you have, and they all react to the world most of the time. So yeah, that's great. I love the collisions of each individual particles. So if I shoot in a corner over there, they all bounce properly. And you've got recoil, so when I shoot, it pushes me back, so I can't really shoot too much. And if I remove the anti-gravity effect, you can see it still pushes me, And because they've got a suspension system, it's hard to see, but if you look carefully, when I land, I actually have a suspension system here. So when I shoot, actually pushes me down, and the suspensions pushes you back on. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's check out how I made the lasers. So very briefly, the rocket ship is gonna just spawn a laser actor whenever you fire it. So this actor, once spawned, straight away is gonna move forward and do its thing. So first on begin play, so when it is spawned, play a sound, which is basically this. Then here we take the static mesh, which is the laser itself, look at its position in the world, and then spawn a Niagara effect at the same location. And that effect is gonna just follow the static mesh here. And we set it so that it's got a specific velocity, which is a parameter of the Niagara system. We can take a quick look at this system later, but we went through Niagara systems in the previous videos. So here we set another variable. So this is basically, depending on the size of the laser, I'm gonna spawn more or less particle when it explodes, so it makes sense. And then 4 seconds later, the entire system is gonna be destroyed. Well, actually the entire actor is gonna be destroyed. So the mesh actually gets destroyed on impact, but I want to keep the actor on and not destroy it until the Niagara effect disappears. So when the static mesh hits something, we play this sound. That's the impact sound, and it's played where the impact happened. And we set simulate physics here. This is because the actual static mesh, I'm not simulating physics for it. I'm just using a projectile component, which in this case, I'm not using the physics. So all the calculation for the movement of this static mesh for the laser is done without calculating physics. So this is just to try and save on performance. I don't want too many things simulated at the same time, and those lasers I might spawn many at once, so this is why I'm doing this. But I'm simulating the physics here on impact just so that it can push things around and do its thing just for a brief moment. And then very shortly after the impact, we are destroying the actual mesh, so there is no more collision possible. And after that, I'm playing this sound, and that's because my Niagara system should now show the particles, and so that sound is played. And that's about it for the projectile. Alright, let's take a look at the Niagara system real quick. So very similar to the previous system I made. Here we've got two. One is for all the particles that are green and remain green. And this one is for the one that becomes orange over time. So we've got a very simple loop between the two colors over time, the age of the actual particles. And I'm spawning those particles following the shape, so on the shape that I'm using for the laser. And that means that if I create a separate laser, maybe a red one that is a lot longer, then the particles would adapt to that, and it would follow the new shape. So I would say that's about it for the Niagara system for the laser. And the final results, let's take a final look here. Okay, so if you look carefully, most of the particles remain green, but some of them turns orange toward the end of life. So that's about it. We've got the collision, everything set up, and the actual mesh, not the Niagara system, is allowing us to push physically animated actors. So yeah, that's pretty cool, and it would be very easy from now on to create different type of lasers, longer, smaller, one that pushes more or less their targets. And also we've got this part here that is pretty fun. So you've got the recoil, I should say. So when you shoot, it pushes you in the other direction. And I'm not gonna say too much about this, but I think I will include that in some puzzles where basically you could move around just using the force generated by the impulse of the laser. I love the collisions and all of this, and it turned out great, and that wasn't very hard to set up. Because we now have lasers, I decided to work on a target. So here is the robot I modeled recently. I want the robot to react to the shot. So that works pretty okay at the moment, but I need to play around with the amount of force that is applied. We've got the cannon always aiming at the player if you are in range, no matter the orientation of the robot. If you look at the feet, they always touch the floor. So there's still some work to be done. Here the arms is up. So this means if you shoot the arm, it will impact the robot a lot less, and the damage value would be reduced dramatically, so that it's more interesting to shoot from the back, and when it's turning around, it's more vulnerable. Here, if I shoot on the feet moves. The orientation of the body is changing based on the position of the feet. So yeah, it's very cool. Everything is procedural except for the arm going up. The enemy is not able to shoot at the moment, but of course it will be able to. But yeah, that's about it for this one. So we've got a control rig, procedural animation, physics assets. All of that took quite a long time to set up, and a lot of debugging. So that's why I'm talking about this now, but I might revisit it later. Or you see this one went up right there because it's able to rotate and climb. Although I think that it's gonna get stuck here. Let's see. But yeah, I think it's very cool. I like how the particles are reacting to it. It was a bit of a pain to set up, and there's still quite a bit to do. It was something important to learn. I thought I would get away with animation on this project, but turned out that no, I did need it. But at least now I will be able to handle other types of enemies later on. But yeah, the models, I was quite surprised this time. It didn't take me too long to make. We'll see what comes next, but that's a pretty cool update. I might make a fairly long video explaining this. A lot of what I've shown is still under development, but I decided to make a video because it's been a while, and this is gonna take quite a bit of time for me to be happy with the results. But I think it's going in the right direction, and I've seen that everything I've been trying to do has been working, and it's just about fine-tuning a few things, adding a few models, and just fine-tune a few things. So I think I'm gonna get there. The next update, hopefully I will finish this up and potentially look into dynamic grass or something else. We'll see. But hey, thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. I'm serious about this project. I will definitely finish it at some point, and I'm aiming to finish the game in about a year, but there will be a demo coming in a few months. So also, I'm not a social media guy, so please do feel free to share these videos with whoever you think would be interested in the game. It would help out a lot. So that would motivate me. But also, I need this to work out. So the more people see this, the better. So thanks a lot. Next video, or maybe the next one, the following one, I might go through the comments I received so far. There aren't that many, so I should be able to get through most of them, if not all. And I will try and answer whatever question I see, or just thank you guys for your support. So yeah, thanks a lot. Like, subscribe, comment. See you next time. Bye.